In recent years, the Texas Department of Public Safety had a policy in place that required motorists convicted of certain traffic offenses to pay an extra fee or surcharge on top of any fines or penalties for the actual traffic violation. But a viewer left a message on our Facebook page asking if those surcharges are going away as of September 1st. Our Brian Burns looked into it for us and has this Verify report.
Governor Greg Abbott recently signed House Bill 2048, ending the driver responsibility program. The program required Texans who were convicted of certain traffic offenses after September 1st, 2003, to pay an annual surcharge on top of criminal penalties and court fines in order to maintain their driver's licenses. Individuals who were convicted of one of certain offenses were forced to pay the annual surcharge for 3 years after the conviction. And these fines weren't cheap either. For the first drunk driving offense, $1,000 a year. For the second, $1,500 a year. Drunk driving with a blood alcohol level of 0.16 or higher, $2,000 a year. For no insurance, up to $250. For driving with an invalid license, $250. And no driver's license, up to $100 a year. This change in the law will allow almost 1.5 million Texas drivers with suspended licenses back on the road. According to data provided by the Texas Department of Public Safety, more than 600,000 drivers will automatically have their suspensions lifted come September 1st. More than 350,000 will have their suspensions lifted after paying a reinstatement fee. And almost 400,000 Texas drivers will be eligible to have their suspensions lifted after taking care of other reasons like failure to pay or failure to appear. After September 1st, all surcharge assessments will be waived and no future surcharges will be assessed. You will still be responsible for any other suspensions, fines, or fees on your driving record. Remember, you are still required to pay your surcharge installment payments until September 1st. If you have something you would like us to verify, just send us an email to verify@KIIITV.com.